Welcome to the active system. In this training video, you are going to learn how to do your menu management using the active system. The mouse cursor on your sample desktop shown on your screen is now on the active system icon, and we're going to double click that icon, and you're presented with the password screen where you input the password given to you by the active system staff. Now you're on the roster screen of the rest of the active system, and we're going to make sure the diet tab is selected. It is in bold, so it is selected, and the command buttons below the tab are for the dietary manager, and you have the menu button in the second column to the left. The mouse cursor, which is a triangle now with a red A in the center. The mouse cursor is now on the menu button, and we're going to click the menu button. And input our password. The password is Bill S. Not all systems will be password protected, but you can have your password protected, your menu protected using a password. If you need more security, or you only want one person managing your menus and nobody else having access to it. We're going to now put in the name of the menu here in the slot in the upper left. This is where you put the name of the facility. You can basically type anything you want in that slot, and it will be centered at the top of your menu. You'll notice now that the menu going across the top, you have the various diets that are on your menu. That's for set 1. If you click set 2, you get another set of menus. There's 7 diets go across each of the screen. Set 3 is not quite complete. You have your mechanical soft here on this particular menu on set 3. The mechanical soft stamp is placed on the columns for mechanical soft. If we go back to set 1, the pureed stamp is on the columns for the puree diet, and this is so that you do not have to keep repeating the word pureed in front of each menu item. You simply get a colorful stamp on the top of lunch and supper to make sure that the staff knows that that menu is in fact made of pureed foods. Okay, what we're looking at now is the pureed, the preview menu. It's more of a fancy menu. Another menu input screen is the edit menu, and if you right click the edit menu, edit menu button, you get the edit menu screen. Now we're going to click the preview button, go back to the preview screen, and looking at the top of the screen, this are the commands that you need for printing your menu. The print button is in the upper left, and if you put the mouse cursor over the boxes, this is where you put the beginning day and the ending day to print. Notice that the print days are separate from the days that you're actually viewing on the screen. And then the third box is the set number to print. You can print one set, or you can print all 3 sets, however detailed you want to be. Most facilities print set 1 to 2 to make sure that they get all the most common diets. Now the next box is the start day box. This is has 2 gray boxes to the right, and the reason they're gray is because these numbers are usually not changed very often. You simply need to tell the computer the start day of your menu. If the active system holds 999 days of menus, so you need to tell the system where the first day of your menu is going to start. Usually this is 1, but if you're starting with day 101 through 128 for your menus that you're using, you would make that a 101. Okay, so the start day needs to be in place, and then the start day of the week. Now, if you don't have these numbers in correctly, you're going to find that the week number, where the mouse cursor is now, and the day of the week starting, those are not going to be correct. You may have week number 392, and you know it's supposed to be Sunday, but it keeps, or Monday, but it keeps saying Sunday. It always says Sunday. It never changes. Okay, that's a sign that the start day number is not set correctly. Okay, the next box over here is a pink check box. That's week at a glance. Please note that the active system does not show the week at a glance on the screen. If you want to see the week at a glance, you have to print it out. This is because the week at a glance is an assembled report from the data that's in the active system. It assembles it as it prints. So the week at a glance needs to be printed out, and the box next to it, you tell the system which column of the current spreadsheet on the screen do you want to use for your week at a glance. In other words, if you make it column 1, that's where the mouse cursor is now, you get a regular diet week at a glance. Or if it's column 2, you get the week at a glance for the puree diet. If it's column 3, you get the week at a glance for the 2-gram sodium diet, etc. The next box is the menu day, and that's the yellow box, and that is the day that you're currently viewing on the screen, and you have an up and down arrow key next to it, and if you click the up arrow key, the day changes. And you can simply click up or down, or you could type in a day and go straight to that day. Okay, notice this particular set of menus has the Mechanical Soft and Pureed at the top, or on the set 1, but also notice that it says week number 129. That's because the start day is not set. If we start our menus on day 901 and go through 928, we need to make this 901 here. Now you hit enter. Now you see that you're back to normal. You got week 1 on Sunday. Okay, now the next box over is the daily menu box. If you click the up arrow, you start getting your daily menus for breakfast, lunch, and supper, and then a staff menu for breakfast, lunch, and supper, and then it goes back to your spreadsheets. If you get stuck in this mode here like this, you want to go straight back to your spreadsheet, simply click the spreadsheet button where the mouse cursor is now, and you get back to your spreadsheets. Okay, the box to the right, if you place the mouse cursor over it, that's the banner number, and if you click the up and down arrow key, you get various banners. And these banners, I'm sorry, they are for the daily menus. If you click them up or down like this, you'll see the different banners and the different borders at the top. And then you have different watermarks that you can place behind the daily menus. Okay, so those are, and there's many, these are the same banners and borders that you use for the tray cards. So if you go to the tray card program, you can get a catalog of these watermarks printed out. But the idea here is simply scroll through the ones and leave it on the ones that you want, and that sets the banner and border for your daily menus. Now we're going to go back to spreadsheets. And then we'll come over here to the right of the exit button is version. If you make this version 1, you get blanks next to the food items where you can record your temperatures. So that's a unique feature that you can get just by changing that to a 1. And the last two boxes are to adjust the left margin and TWIPs and the top margin of your menus and TWIPs in order to adjust how it prints on the page. And TWIPs is a very fine unit of measure. There are 1,440 twips to an inch, so to move it up or down or left or right a quarter of an inch, you change it by a factor of 400. Okay, now we're going to click the cost button, and the cost button puts the cost of the menus on the screen with a total at the bottom for you to review. It's a very quick and easy way to cost the menu. Unclick that and take that off. Now that it does assume that the menu item list does have the cost of each menu item already in place, and we can review that from the edit menu screen in just a few moments. Okay, so how do you go about changing this? This other button here is to load the production sheet program. You can update the production sheets from the menu after you change it by clicking this button. This, remember, is the spreadsheet button. Go straight back to the spreadsheets. Click this button to put portion sizes on the non-calculated diets. Portion sizes are already on the calculated diets, such as the 1,200 calorie and the renal diets. Click this button here to not put a date on the menu, otherwise it will put today's date on it when it prints. Print here to put no signature. If you have the RD signature in the system, the RD can sign on to the system, and that RD signature will be printed on the menu. So this is a way that an RD can sign the menus without actually having to sign each and every page. Just have your RD sign onto the menu after he or she has reviewed the menus to make sure they're exactly what he or she wants. Then they can sign on and then print and then sign off the system so that their signature wouldn't be available again. And this BLSN is for an adult or a daycare center, where you can label the meals breakfast, lunch, and snack for a daycare center. Okay, the BMP button is to make a picture of the menu on the screen, and then you can send these picture files over the internet or through email so that people can have a copy of your menus without having the active system. It's the way you can distribute menus from the active system. Okay, so how do you go about changing the menu? Well, it's fairly simple. You simply check the menu item that you want to change, and this box comes up. And the object here is to get the item you want in the yellow box. If you click the blue box, down arrow below it, all of your various entrees are available there. And you simply check the one that you want, and now you click F1 to spread, and it changes that item to the new item. Okay, if we click that item again, we'll find a different way to do this. You can simply use it as the yellow box as a search window, and you can type MEAT and just keep hitting enter until you find the item that you want. Looking for meatloaf. Let's add an L to that. There we go, meatloaf. There we go. Meatloaf is now in the blue box below. Once you have what you want in the blue box below, you click the F1 spread button. And that means that you can either click that button or you can just tap the F1 button, and it spreads the menu across all the different diets. Okay, if we can go down here to, say, new potatoes, now you'll notice the drop-down list is a listing of starches. You can find the one that you want and then click F1 and it spreads it across. So this is really how you can change the menu, and it's like having a dietitian looking over your shoulder telling you what to put in each one of the columns. Let's find one that really reflects how this process is done. If we type tomato, Creole tomato casserole, hit F1, you'll notice that sliced carrots are substituted for the renal diet over here in the renal column. So it's very effective in the way it spreads it across the different diets, and you get a lot of guidance and support as if you were having a dietitian right there with you planning your menus. Of course, you still need to have the dietitian review the menus and sign off on the menus. So the process here is for the dietary manager to change the menus in accordance with the wishes of the residents, and then print out a new spreadsheet and have that ready for the dietitian to review and sign off before it's implemented. But the process has been reduced down to a simple changing of the menu on the screen and reprinting and having the dietitian sign it, rather than a huge project and huge ordeal 2 to 3 times a year, and your menus do not change until that time. This allows you to have a dynamic menu where you're changing it every week if you want to. If the residents want it, then your menu is not as so seasonal. You do not have different seasons of menus. You simply change the menu as the residents instruct you and as their likes and dislikes change over the year. So you'll notice that the foods may become heavier during the winter months, and they may want more soups, and then towards the spring and summer they may want less soups, and your menu reflects those changes as you go. Not only does this allow you to change your menu and make it a dynamic menu, it also empowers the residents. They get the feeling that what they want and what they say really counts, and they see the changes reflected on the menu as they tell you what they want each and every week or each and every month at the resident council meeting, and they begin to see that what they say actually counts, and they see the changes they request implemented immediately, and that in and of itself dramatically improves resident meal satisfaction. So this is a very important feature that really gives you a lot of power and a lot of influence and a lot of ability to improve the satisfaction of the residents towards the meals in your facility. Okay, so let's go right-click the Edit menu screen. And you can also change the menu from this screen also. It's slightly different. You simply highlight the item that you want to change, and then you go up to the top here to the search window, and you also have a drop-down list, and the object is to get the item you want at the in the blue box, and then click your F1 screen. So we're in the dessert section. We're going to type in cake. Hit enter and keep hitting enter until you find the cake that you want. Then you click your F1 and it spreads it across. And you'll notice that it's substituting fresh fruit in season for your diabetics and many of your other diets. So that's the procedure for changing it from the edit menu screen. But what's the big difference in this screen versus the preview menu? Well, the biggest difference is you can add menu items to your menu. From the preview screen, you're limited to changing menu items that are currently there. You cannot insert a second entree or a second vegetable or a second starch. But in the edit menu, you'll see the blank. You have different categories. The menu is divided into the different categories, and you have 3 entrees you can add for lunch. You have 2 starches, and to add another entree, you simply click that entree. The blank spot, and then go up to the top and type in which entree you actually want. Let's type in meatloaf. Let's type in baked chicken. Oh. And once you find it, you click F1 and it spreads it across the different diets for you. If say you wanted to add a second dessert, you click desserts, the blank spot on dessert, and then you would come up to the yellow box and type in the dessert that you wanted. You may want ice cream. Hitting enter, yep, found the one I want. I hit F1 and spread it across. Okay, so that's how you put in the menu items from this screen. The second, the other thing you need to realize are the stars. Where the cursor is now, you'll see LH star. That is the house item. If there's no star in the slot next to the LH, that means that is a select item. And this will print out on your select menus, but usually your spreadsheets, you only print out the starred items. If you want to change that, you simply click it and then type in the star that you want. And that makes that a starred item also. Of course, you can just space through the star also, and that takes them off. That makes them the non-select item. Okay, the other thing that you can access from the edit menu screen are these orange buttons up here, and the main one to look for is the list button. If you click the list, you get the menu item lists here. At the top you have the category, and you have the various categories that you input. Now if you go back to the menu, the actual menu, you'll see the category where the cursor is now is the second column of your menus, and that is the category. And these words that are in this column are very important. That's telling the menu, as well as the tray card program, which menu item list to go to find the numbered item that are in the skinnier columns across the spreadsheet. So for instance, tomato casserole is item number 142 of the vegetable list. So you go up to lists and you click lists, and you can go down to vegetable, and if you went down to 142, the counter for the menu is right here. If you go down to 142, you'll see that it's tomato casserole. There we go. So that's tomato casserole. Now how the system works is the first two columns, you have the exchange portion size in the first column, and then the regular portion size for the regular diets and all the non-calculated diets would be in the second column. Of course, the name of the menu item is in the third column. Then you have columns, and you'll read from the top, sub 1, sub 2, sub 3, sub 4. These are the substitute menu items that will be substituted if tomato casserole is not allowed on a particular diet. Then you go over here to the real skinny columns, a series of skinny columns. You'll notice up at the top you have regular, mechanical, pureed, 2 gram, 4 gram, NCS, fat controlled, low residue, bland, calorie, potassium, protein, lactose free, vegetarian. These are your columns of your major diet categories. If there's anything in the column, that means that the menu item is allowed on that diet category. If there is a blank, that means that the item is not allowed in that diet category. So for instance, tomato casserole is a blank under 2, so I mean 2 gram sodiums will not get this item, and low residues will not get it, bland will not get it, potassium and protein, low potassium, low protein diets will not get the tomato casserole. So what the system does is look first under sub 1, it'll look to menu item number 115 on this list and see if that item is allowed on the particular diet it's trying to spread. If it's not allowed on that diet, then it'll go to sub 2. So when you're adding menu items to this list, you need to keep that in mind and make sure that all diets are considered within the current menu item and the substitutions that you're assigning for that particular menu item. If we scroll down, you'll see that if we click the last item on the list, we're up to 186 on vegetables. There are 800 items on a list, so you have plenty of room for your vegetable list. If we go back up to categories and go up to entrees, you'll see that entrees, if we scroll down to the bottom of there and click that, you'll see 546 entrees. You still have a whole lot more rooms, but these menu item lists have been growing since 1992 or 3, somewhere around there. So it's not like we're going to run out of room anytime soon. We still have 300 entree slots left, and we've been working on these lists for over 10 years. So these lists that are currently in your system have been used to plan dozens and dozens of full complete menus. So it's pretty certain that what you want is probably already in the system, but you can add items just like we talked about before. You just simply click a blank item here and fill in the blanks, and then that item is available from your menu screen. Let's go back to lists, and you'll notice here where you put the cost of the menu item here in the cost column where the mouse cursor is now. The recipe column is a recipe number that you assign to that menu item, and that is from this list here. You can go to your recipe list, or you can find in the orange box you have a list of all the recipes that are in the system, and you can simply click the recipe and see the recipe number in the box in the upper right hand side. Of course, you can also do a search for recipes and type in and just keep hitting enter until you find the one that you want, and then you've got the number here, and then you can assign that recipe to a menu item by typing in that number in this column. Then whenever you print out a cookbook for a particular menu item, the recipe will print out if that menu item is on your menu. Okay, so let's click exit and go back to the menu and review some of the other. Of course, if you click cost, you get the cost column on the menu. Nutritional analysis, this is how you get your nutritional analysis, and you simply put in the days that you want and hit enter, and the system goes through and does a nutritional analysis of the entire menu. Now usually you print out your nutritional analysis from the email program. You can put in an alternate menu name for your email if you want, but this is what you usually do. You create a nutritional analysis summary, and it gives you a very nice looking analysis for each day of the menu. So this is assuming that you have already done the nutritional analysis from the NUT button. Now the other thing we need to consider is your copy options. If you click copy, this gives you a fairly sophisticated program for copying entire days of the menu or individual lines of the menu. You click this and you come up, you want to copy day 901 to days 902 to 928. This is useful if you're putting in a brand new menu and you want to put in a pattern. You put in one day of the menu first and then copy it to the other 28 days of the menu, and click copy now, and it copies the entire menu day 901 to the other days of the menu. Now if you want to copy individual lines of the menu, let's go back out and you'll see the line counter If you click a menu day, the line counter is right here where the mouse cursor is. That's the line of the menu you are on. If you want to copy that line of the menu to all days of the menu, you would click copy, and you would put in the from line here, 11, to line 11, and then days 901 through 902 to 928. You click OK, and that will copy line 11 of 901, menu day 901, to line 11 of menu days 902 through 928. So that's the way you can put in or change one particular line of the menu for all days of the menu. Okay, some other items that are of interest down here is the names of your columns. If you want to change the names of the columns for your menu, you simply come to this and you type in the names of the columns that you want, and you'll notice that you have your set number. It goes all the way to set number 7, but we usually use only 1 through 3. And the set 1, column 1 in this menu would be regular, no added salt. Set 1, column 2, the name would be mechanical soft. Now over here to the right, you have a profile column. That's the diet profile that needs to be assigned, and if it's a calculated diet, you also have to tell it which diet number. Okay, and this is done through the diet list. You click the diet list button, the yellow button, and you're given the list of diets, and this is the diets that the system goes by. Whenever you're in the admission screen of the residence, you'll notice that what's on the blue, the first column, this box, if you hit enter, this opens the line and you can actually change what's online for that particular diet. Okay, now when seeing a column file number, this is what it's referred to is over here to let's go back to, and this column here is the profile column number. Okay, so this is the actual column number that we were just looking at. So the regular diet is profile number 1, mechanical soft is profile number 2, and pureed is profile number 3. If you click the diet list, you'll see mechanical is read vertically. So that is what column is file section the diet list. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 different profiles. If it's calorie diet, cell is right here. 7, 8, 9, 10. All NCS, 1200, 1500, 1800. They're all considered calorie diets. They would be given a profile of number 10. Okay. Now over here to the very, very far select menu, it's very important that these two columns refer back to the select menu properly. In other words, the regular diet for your spreadsheets is set 1, mat 1. The mechanical soft diet is referring back to, in this case, set 1, mat 2. That's the column of your spreadsheet is for the mat. So this says mechanical soft 1.1. However, on our spreadsheets, we have mechanical soft in mat 2. So you would want to change this to 2. So you come down here, hit your end button, go to the end, and change it set 1, mat 2. Do the same thing for pureed, make it mat number 3. Okay, now this would not be noticed as any problem unless you were printing out select menus. If you're printing out tray cards with no menu on the card, then you wouldn't see this problem. This problem also be seen if you were printing out meal cards, which puts the menu on the card. So if you're using select menus and or meal cards, you need to make sure that the lists match up to the particular set of menus that you're using. So as you'll notice, going through 199 days of the menu, that the mechanical soft sometimes on column 2. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's put off onto the third spreadsheet or third set of spreadsheets. So in some facilities want the renal diet on the first sheet. Some of them want it on the second set of spreadsheets. So all of these need to be matched up with the select menu that you're using if you're select menu. So call us if you have any questions about that, because that is one of the critical things to do if you're printing select menus from the active system. I'm going to press escape and go back to this diet list. Now the diet number here on the last column of this window is for the actual list, the actual diet number on this list. So if you this number here, as you see changes as you scroll down, is the number it's referring to. So for instance, a calorie diet, if it's a 1500 calorie diet, it is diet number 15. And you'll notice over here that 1500 calorie is profile number 10. Remember, all calorie diets are number 10 in the profile, but this particular calorie diet, the 1500 calorie diet, is diet number 15. So the system knows that it needs to find foods that fit the profile of a calorie diet, but also the 1500 calorie has its own set of numbers of exchanges for each of the meals. So that's why the system needs to know the diet number for any calculated diets. And that's it. That's about as complicated as it gets. Please call us for any questions about setting up your diet list before you begin to print select menus or meal cards. Also call us in adding menu items to the list. Now, adding menu items is more of a dietitian function. So if you want to add certain things to your menu and they're not on the current menu item list, then you need to ask the dietitian to go into this list and either add the item themselves or tell you which of the columns need to be marked and what substitutes would need to be put in place for that particular menu item. Once it's in, then you have the ability to spread that menu item across the menus anytime that you want it. So the system really gives you a lot of help with the menu items that are currently on the list, but it also gives you the ability to add menu items at the direction of your dietitian so that you can use those new items for menu planning also. So please give us a call for any questions involving menu planning. The Active Systems Menu Management Program is designed to make it very versatile and very flexible for you to have a dynamic menu that you can change at any time to meet the needs and desires of your residents and to keep them as happy as possible and empower them with the ability to change the menu according to their likes and their dislikes, and that in and of itself will dramatically improve the meal satisfaction for your residents. Thank you very much for your time and interest, and we'll be looking forward to hearing from you.